Hey guys, Jodie Flavell here from Jodie Flavell Art and welcome to the Dixie Belle Paint channel. Today I am upcycling this mirror here behind me. It's very vintage, it's got a few little issues with it, but most importantly they sell really well for me and it was a really good bargain find, which is always something that we like, right? And today I'm just going to give it a really classic English cottage kind of look, so stay tuned for that. Because the surface is quite slick and slippery, and if I was to paint it, the paint would probably just come straight off. What I'm going to do is use something called Slick Stick. Slick Stick is an adhesive primer by Dixie Belle. Just ignore my messy hands. If you can't tell, I've been painting before I was making this video. But yeah, so it's an adhesive primer by Dixie Belle, which means when I put my paint on top, I know my paint is going to stick very securely to this. This you can paint any slippery surface, even glass. So even if I wanted to, I'm not going to paint the glass today, but if I wanted to, I'd use this stuff. With a chip brush, I'm going to apply one thin coat to start with, and then when that's dry, I'm going to go in with a second coat. I'm going to make sure that I get into all of these little nooks and crannies, most importantly, before I go in with my second coat. My first coat is just trying to make sure that I've got some good coverage on there, and then the second coat is just to even it all out. Alright, are you ready for the next colour? The next colour I'm using is from the new Dixie Belle Cottage core line, and it is called English Ivy, and just check out that gorgeous green. So as this is going to be a cottage style anyway, this is going to be the perfect colour. I'm going to give this one really good coat to start with. I'm not going to use water because personally I do like a little bit of texture. But because I've got the white underneath, I will definitely need another coat of this. I'm also using the flat small Dixie Belle brush. This has synthetic bristles, which means it is great for a smooth finish. I'm just going to take my time with it because there's no rush. If you did want to extend your paint, then you can use a little bit of water. But as I said, I like to have that little bit of texture, especially as it's going to be a cottage finish. You know, cottage is, when I think of cottage, I think about different textures, different, you know, soft colours. You know, there's usually a lot of different things happening in cottages, and they tend to have a vintage feel about them. So as this is a very earthy colour, I am more than happy to not have a perfect finish. So I've got one coat on there now. No wait, I've got two coats on there now. I've got some good coverage, but just to achieve that sort of textured cottagey look that I want, I'm just going to do a little bit of dabbing with the English Ivy, so it gives me a bit of a mottled look. I've got some English Ivy on my brush, and all I'm going to do is just very, very lightly tap it. And that'll just give me a little bit of texture and just something a little bit more interesting, I think, to look at. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of highlighting now, and for this I'm going to use the new Cottage door colour by Dixie Belle. So this is part of the Cottage core line, and I think it will just I thought I was going to spill then. And I think it will just complement the green really well and just highlight, you know, some of the bits really prettily. I have the tiniest little bit on my brush. Okay, not a lot. And what I'm going to do is then just go around some of these outlines here very gently and just dry brush some of this on. It's kind of noisy where I am, guys, as well, so I'm sorry if you can if you can hear anyone. And I'm very lightly just going to brush it over these leaves as well. This technique is called dry brushing, and that's basically when you just have a tiny little bit of paint on your brush and you're basically just rubbing the paint off your brush. And I know that's kind of what you do anyway, but it's where you've barely got any paint on your brush and you're removing all the excess. So you can do this bit slowly and it doesn't need to be even. I think I might also just put a tiny bit on the outside. That's too much, so I'm just going to rub that in. Put a tiny bit on the outside edge here as well. Like that. And if there is too much, you can just use your finger and just soften it up slightly. Alright, what I have next is some black glaze, and I'm just going to darken this colour up and make it look a little bit more aged. It does look blue in the pot, but I promise it turns black. Some of it will sink in to the chalk paint, so the chalk paint will soak some of this up, but I'm okay with that because, as I said before, I like things to look uneven. I'm not a massive fan of perfect, symmetrical looking pieces of home decor and furniture, so when things are looking a little bit like they have naturally aged or have, you know, just different interesting things going on, that is what I like. I'm going to try something really experimental, but I'm not sure it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. So I think this is, I've got some leaves, I think it's from a Benjamin ficus plant maybe, and I'm just going to paint the inside of it in the new cucumber ice colour. So this colour is also part of the new Cottage core colour. This could go really wrong, so I'm just going to paint some paint on there. I think I'm going to need quite a bit, but not like a crazy amount. Sorry if you can't see. I will show you what it looks like in a minute. I almost feel sorry because I'm killing this plant, and I don't know if it knows it, but it's not going to live now. So I'm really sorry, plant. Why do I feel guilty? It's very noisy downstairs as well. Sorry guys if you can hear that. There is a gym below me. Okay, so I'm gonna try and use this as a stamp, but it's a little bit of a funny shape, so I don't know if this is gonna work. But I'm gonna try it. I can always cover it up if need be. Okay, you ready? Right, this could go really wrong. Okay, so if I put this around the middle, like this, and just push it on, I think this is not going to work, is it? It's just going to look weird. It's just not going to... We'll see. We'll see. I'm probably doing this all wrong. See? No, it did not work. It did not work. So that's a lesson. So what I'm going to try instead is I'm going to try and take off each individual leaf and maybe just see if I can stick them on. So give me a sec. Right, I'm just going to try one to start with. Sorry, I can't get you guys closer. Just push it on there. Kind of worked, I guess. Do this one here. I think that's a little better. I'm just not sure I like it. I don't know if I like it. Okay. I'm just showing you, I'm going to leave this part in because I'm just going to show you that sometimes I have ideas that don't actually go to plan, and I think it's good to see that sometimes, and this is one of those ideas. So I'm going to stop messing around and I'm just going to fix these little bits up and just get on with the next thing. It's something I'm going to try again in the future, but just not for today. Maybe with like a monstera leaf on another piece of furniture, but not today. Okay, so next I have some bronze gilding wax, and I'm just going to highlight a few places now, similarly to where I highlighted with the pinky colour. So I'm not going to use my fingers because my fingers are kind of messy right now. So I'm just going to use a brush and just do a very light dusting in all the areas that I put the cottage door. Very lightly and rustically, just brush over some of it. So I don't want it to take over the cottage door, I just kind of want it to be an extra layer and in addition of, if that makes sense. And I might even just brush a little bit into the middle here as well. Very, very lightly.